Well, I think I said enough of everything. Yes, I'm about to say goodnight, but before I go, I would say that my copyrights, none of them have Leah P. Passy, Leah P. Leonardsen, and I never signed anything with Author House with that P in the middle. And what I want to do next is to show three documents. That would be my rebuttal, like, I don't know if you could call it a rebuttal. I'm not a lawyer. But I want to thank YouTube again for giving me this opportunity, because I really would not be able to afford a lawyer to do this, and it's been very hard. Rush and you put on some makeup quick, you run back to the bathroom, you get up, you take 2 hours, you run back again. So it's been I would say I've been going through this process for about a month and a half. I started did a whole of part of October and September, and then I had to get practice to speak out. I had to do a lot of voice to practice my voice. So that was a little strenuous. But it's been worth it for me, because if I stay, I would get disgruntled, and I don't want to get old, hard, and miserable, worrying about what I should have done or what I could have done. So I believe to take action in that respect. But concerning my equation, no, I would not do that. I would be then feeding into what they have done by trying to motivate me all the years, and provoking the situation. When you have things like getting beat up on the subway and not going to the doctor, and the people where I park my car, very good Americans, very good New Yorkers, they were concerned about me. They didn't know I was in the earthquake at that time, what I was doing, and things like that. You're concerned, you wonder about it. This woman in Massachusetts where I work, how could she come to my home in a sale when I was moving out to Massachusetts? She didn't even know where I live, and tell me, you've been buying up too much senior things for your old age pension plan. How does people know these things? My daughter didn't even know where I was in the earthquake. So everything I have kept for myself. So this has been an emotional ride. This has been a strain for me to do this DVD, a real strain. But I had to do it. I had to do it. And I want people to understand this. Yes, when I came to America the first 10 years, I was very, very happy to be here, and I do not hate America, or I'm not a racist. My husband is Norwegian, so how could I be a racist? I marry into real white. But if I love to call it like it is, especially when it's important. I'm going to say what it is. If I say that Author House became monsters, they have become monsters, and you cannot separate. You cannot live off of people like me. You shouldn't live off of nobody. But somebody like me, how could you sit down and eat? A little black girl, she was running around the Caribbean. She grew up to a woman. She come to America, and you want to eat and enjoy my money, and I must say nothing. You're a criminal. You're a criminal. You're a white monster. And then when she talk out something about something like capital punishment, you side in with special interest without even knowing who this human being is. Well, you are a destructive person. That's what I'm going to do. You are a destructive person, because even if somebody kills somebody, it's only Moses who say eye for eye. And if you're going to say you're a Christian person, when Christ came on the scene, he did away with Moses' law. When he came on the scene, he did away with Moses' law. It's no longer an eye for an eye. So I could afford to call him, these people, yes, you are the white hope of destruction. Anyway, I don't want to go down that road, so, I'm going to go and settle down and try to put up my Christmas tree and look forward to Thanksgiving, and I will show 3 more documents. Thank you, YouTube. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. After I joined, I signed the agreement and paid the money to for book on demand. Paul at Order House, he sent me this final submission, one of the papers I got to sign, with all these different 25,000 names of distributors around the world that would help me sell my book, that, my book could be found. So I accepted it. Okay, this is a letter from the gentleman that I work with. His name is under here and address and so on. I'm going to can't show that because of his identity. These the Americans I worked with when I came to New York was great Americans. A bunch of them great Americans. One would introduce me to his friend, the next one introduced me to his friend, and so they kept me alive. Okay, this is that is explaining that he bought it. I paid him back in labor. Was $10 an hour, five hours on Friday. After I worked, I scratched off, and until the bill was paid off. Okay, that gentleman, I worked with him for quite a little while at Symphony Place. Then I moved down to close to between Radio City Hall and Carnegie Hall. He was living between there. Um, Nice area to work in. So he was kind enough to buy that for me, and I paid him back as the week went. It was the most expensive thing I bought. If I misspoke and said it wasn't, but thinking that I had to buy printers, I had to buy scanners, I have to buy shredders, I have to buy paper. I was not the type of writer that to just once I got to America, it took on a different ball game. My other boss down the street, I was working three, four people at a time. You're a hustler when you're an immigrant, right? Okay, I'm doing masseuse, I'm cleaning, I'm doing everything. My other boss, she gave me a Smith Corona, and I take off everything that was done that I had sent to Canada, and I put it on Smith Corona. Big mistake. Beautiful machine to work with, Smith Corona word processor, beautiful to work with. But when you have to take that off and put it on Macintosh, Macintosh will take it, but it will not be able to read it out for you if you can't convert it. That was Mac back then with the 500 series. It have to be able to understand it. And then, of course, it was a state of the art. It have speech, it have everything, but it have to understand what you have there to convert it from Smith Corona word processor. So yes, I spend money. I do not think that Author House know what it is to write a book or biography for years. Maybe somebody in pop, or maybe I don't know. But a person that went through the tunnel like I did, I don't think they understand people like me. I don't think so at all. And they are criminals. Thank you. This lawyer in downtown Buffalo also did advise me and recommended maybe I would look into a law company in Manhattan that was fighting a case at the time with Order House. And he suggested to me, he gave me the numbers and so on and the address and business card, and told me I might want to check them out because they might want to do a group case. I did try to contact this firm, but I could have never get hold of them, so I squashed that and didn't proceed with that. But as it turned out, I found out with this very law company that was recommended to me, you had was to do like something like $25,000 in advertisement. For me, I give Author House, Yahoo, and Amazon much more than that for the time expanding that I spend with those companies on my car. I mean to say, work it out and figure it out. Hey, they got a lot. I am positive that most people know that if you only have an ISBN number, you could get a book and find the book that you want. If you say you forget the name of the book, The ISBN number is the tracker. Okay? You go into Barnes and Nobles or one of these people, I forget the name. I have the ISBN number. Matter of fact, most of the time I take down a book, a bad speller like I put down the ISBN number and I'm finished. I go to the bookstore, they could find the book. So that is telling you what it is for. It is for tracking that book. It's a tracker. It's the IRS use it to track the book. So when you have some bills that is not showing up and things are disorder, and you have a company that carrying 25,000 fellowship members as bookstores or contributors, if they don't know how to find things, you see. So for me, but the little point I want to make here, the 60 cents could grow into $60 million. This is the difference. If you start getting needling with these little things, and before you know, they turn the screws on you, because why would anybody hassle anybody for 60 cents tax papers? You know, you're scratching your head. You're saying, but what's really going on? So this is the point. Don't let ISBN number bother you. No writer. It have to be gone because it's the law. But the copyright is more important. That's your soul. That's your fighter. That's your weapon. That belongs to you. The copyright. As you can see, the letter that the Attorney General initially sent when I first contacted them, where he highlight Section 1, is 4 Section 1 to 4. Now, I based my judgment on Section 1 where he highlighted, and I based my judgment on Section 4. They don't seem, as she come down with her final give and take about the rebuttal and closing the case, is not clear on Section 4. So if there's any different that other people understand, I would like to hear from you guys, because I don't understand it. In other words, my case should have gone to court according to what Section 4 is saying and according to the files I send them. The files I send them, where 20 books never showed up, not even in no account, no quarterly report. How did the IRS collect money on that? At that time, the way that showed up, there should have been 28 books. But that disappeared from the scene. And luckily for me, I hid my bills, as I wouldn't have that to show. Yes, Order House in Indiana cold-heartedly robbed me. They can't give proper account of my money. They cannot show me how many books I sold. They cannot bring that forward. They're bad business people. They cold-heartedly rob me, because that is one thing that doesn't differ. How many is sold, what it's sold for. That does not change in sales of an item. How many, what did you sell each item at? It does not change. That is sales. The rebuttal and the ending, the rebuttal and the closing of my case came as a surprise and a shock, because I had just hustled out some papers, special delivery. And to make it short, Miss Fran is saying that because she had a rebuttal, and I don't want to talk to Order House, so she have no other option. She can't make them do anything. But remember, I was asked initially from the first set of papers, I had to sign up. I had to sign the paper, as I showed that before. What do I want to do in case of litigation? And I said, sue them. Of course, anybody with a normal mind would say, sue them. You sending me taxes at an address, but yet you're saying there's no contract. And at the same time, you're saying forward tax numbers. Now, what is that? What you want me, the ordinary mind, the little mind, to deal with that? That is a lawyer thing. The Attorney General office is the law. I turn it over to them. I do not have to talk to this man. So she break it down. The breakdown is that because I haven't talked to them, she can't make them, which is true. But you could look at it. You could see the falls, as I could show on this camera, the falls. They could find it, but they didn't do that. All they did was asked for papers. That's all she asked for. Papers, papers, papers. She did not answer email. She did not answer phone call. Her emails was always about papers, papers, send, 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 which I did all the time. So I felt like I'm stranded out there because she's not contacting me on the phone at all. And there's no more I can send because I sent everything. So at the end, and before she even get the last one, I paid $20-something to post to Indiana. Bam! Within days, this letter was pushed under my door. Imagine I have a mailbox, but it was pushed under my door, like special delivery, like the promptness of this. It was all weird and strange. So I say it's corruption. It's all kind of left wing, right wing. Special interest, government input. Something is going on. It stink, it's dirty, and something in Otter House. Well, I thank God that I am not a gunslinger, but I have 2 baseball bats, and I know a bit about football because I'm a big Giants fan, and I'm gonna tell you, I know shotgun when I see it. Otter House and the Attorney General office went shotgun on my case. Yeah, I would say that 60 cents, that Samsung 60 cents, that was meant to break or destroy me or to arouse me. I mean, why in hell would somebody send you 60 cents? This is a joke, and it's the only money that could ever be shown. So this is a psychological sick joke. Who? Sam think he more brilliant than God? What's going on here? Okay, I got the report, a bulk, 10 pages from Otter House. When after they said they will send it, they sent 10 pages. They all went from 2002 to 2005. Each one numbered had a year of the 12th of July 2005, the 12th of July 2005 on the right hand side, and each quarterly report represented the year that it was made. I did not understand. That's the only time I understood on it, the time it was made. And they backdated it, and they sent it, and then they put the date that the year it was sent, which was July 12, 2005. I didn't see the 20 books that I bought. I didn't see those that my friends bought. My friends who were leaving to go to Georgia to live. I didn't see that. I didn't see what my neighbor bought and discussed the book with me. Because he saw the sign on my car, we were moving snow, and he came over and he discussed this book with me, an old Irishman, and told me he liked the book so much. And I know for sure he bought it because he was Afrocentric. He even gave me things coming out of South Africa, so that's how Afrocentric he was. We used to meet in church together, St. Mary's Church up the street in Westfield. So I know he bought. So I didn't see the book that I bought, the 20 books. I didn't see what my friends bought. So I called Order House to understand how the format worked out. I'm interested in that because I know a bit about format. The Macintosh I bought, it had everything on it. You could do accounts, you could do everything on it. So this format to me looked local. So I decided to ask Order House. And they said, well, they take one quarterly report and put it in the next. And I know a quarterly report must represent itself. You could throw it over there if you want, but it must represent itself. The Lifeline sale, forget about it. That was, you didn't understand it. So the bottom line was that they take one report and put it into the next, and it still didn't make sense. Nothing made sense on the quarterly report, which you would see later on. I would show them a few of them. I cannot show everything Order House have done. I'll try my best to line it up. I have to make a fan in a kind of a way, like a Romy hand, like if you're playing cards and fan it out, so I can move the camera fast to show it. But it is a mess. when you want to explain things like this on a DVD on which I'm making, it's very hard when I'm doing everything myself. You know, I'm presenting everything myself. I'm operating the camera myself. So it takes a little. And this is 20 years of evidence that I am dragging out. So that becomes, something of itself. And emotional, I go high and low, and the weather is changing here in Buffalo. So that's the size of it for me. So at the time, I had pressing issues, so I packed up all 10 pieces of paper and put them in my storage. And I said I will deal with that later because I had more important things to deal with at the time when that arrived. My Uncle Joe in Desperados Hills in Laventille in Trinidad would have made Mickey Mouse out of Order House bookkeeping. I mean, and he would have had Eugene Hopkins flying. I mean, only um, high school diploma he was running. He owned his own gas stations, food stores and everything, liquor stores and that quarry and everything. This man, who they call Eugene Hopkins, he's a joker. He's a vagabond. Give me back my damn money. I advertised Order House, these three companies on my car. Now I am being terrorized with a rocket book and the IRS. So I am their bubbly, spend money for the advertisement. So now I'm their bubbly. Give me back my damn money, all right?